So is this about protecting legacy?
It is.
Okay.
Because again, the Kardashians' name, they 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 seasons in on their own shows.
Yeah.
These people have built so many brands that each and every one of them have a name for themselves off the backs of who though? Exactly. That's why Ray J feel how.
Who benefited the most from this situation?
Kim
Kardashian. Media, licensing, branding.
Kim Kardashian is dealing with a serious situation right now, and it's only getting messier by the minute. So what's really going on here? Remember that lawsuit Kim filed against Ray J? I said from the start, if she's coming this strong, she must have something solid to back it up. But Ray J has stayed consistent this whole time, saying he's innocent and claiming he's got proof to show it. He even called out Kris and the others, saying they were not telling the truth.
For decades, he alleges the Kardashians have been lying. That not only did they shoot that tape in Cabo, but there was a second tape shot because Kris Jenner and the parties that be, he alleges, looked at the first tape. They didn't like how Kim looked, so they shot it again and decided which one to release. And this was all an arranged thing. And Kim was down for it because of Paris Hilton's sex tape, allegedly, and just said, my mom needs to be in charge of how this releases. So basically, he's putting everything he's been yelling about into, some legal docs, and him and his attorneys are going to go back and forth at this time now.
And if you caught my last video, you already know they tried to push for a $6 million settlement during the first season of Keeping Up with the Kardashians on Hulu.
You miss Kim, okay?
I don't actually at all, but she owes me a lot of money. She's been lying a lot. And I don't want to get too deep into it because I'm in like 3 lawsuits with her and her mom. They're not good people.
They also tried to get certain evidence blocked from court, almost like they were trying to pull a Blac Chyna situation on Ray J. You remember that case where key evidence got shut out, right? But Ray J wasn't going for it this time, not at all. He pushed back hard, and the judge basically said, you're suing him for lying, but this contract and even his chat history search are lining up with what he's been saying all along. Now the situation has gotten even worse because insiders are starting to talk about what's happening behind the scenes with Kim's connection to Louis Hamilton. Welcome to Fame Thunder. Hit that subscribe button and drop a comment right now. We really want to hear what you think. Now listen to this because it gets wild. They were spotted together in Tokyo, all cozy and playful, and people instantly started talking. Some are even saying Louis was paid just to show up, like it was all promo for Keeping Up with the Kardashians. That's a big claim, and it has everyone questioning what's actually real here. So what's really going on between them? Well, word is Louis' mom isn't on board at all, saying Kim is a no-go and that this isn't going anywhere. On top of that, Louis has a reputation for not settling down, so even if he's spending time with her, people are side-eyeing how serious this could really get. But here's where the timing starts to look suspicious. The exact same day Ray J came out on top in court, Kim suddenly flew out to Tokyo with her kids and ended up sitting with Lewis Hamilton at the F1 event. That raised a lot of eyebrows. Now people are claiming that appearance came with a massive $2 million payment to Louis just to shift the attention away from the court situation. That's a serious accusation. At the same time, some are saying maybe it's just 2 high-profile people hanging out, nothing deeper. But others aren't convinced, especially since Louis is known to be more private and serious when it comes to relationships. And now a new blind item is making the rounds, and it lines up with details from Ray J's legal documents.
The federal RICO I'm about to drop on Kris and Kim is about to be crazy. I'm talking about, I'm on the news every day like, yeah. Meaning like I'm gonna say a lot of Anybody know Kim and cool with Kim? They need to tell her now. The rain is coming, the feds is coming. There's nothing I can do about it. It's worse than Diddy.
A RICO case?
Why would he share
with the
that?
Kardashians?
He says that if you
I wonder what does that consist of? He said it's worse than Diddy. What the hell the Kardashians do?
Which could spell real trouble for Kim. And honestly, people are still questioning why Kim even decided to sue Ray J in the first place.
If all of that was based upon a mom orchestrating a distribution of a sex tape of her daughter, how would that impact the brands? I mean, on the one part, you could say, hey, they'll continue to blow up. On the other part, maybe nobody wants to work with them again. And it's not just one person, right? It's those 2 entire families. Get to the bottom of this, take the deposition of someone over at Vivid and be like, hey, who sold you the tape? Get to the bottom of it that way, but we're never gonna see that. Why? Because they're just gonna enter into another non-disclosure agreement with the Kardashians paying Ray J a bunch of cash.
There's this ongoing conversation about her trying to reshape her image and move past her early controversies, aiming for a more elite reputation. But critics are saying those past moments are still tied to her story, no matter how much she tries to move forward. People are saying this could stop Louis from reaching the next level, but let's be real for a second. Louis doesn't really level up with anyone like that. Still, the timing has people raising eyebrows. You flew yourself and your kids all the way to Tokyo the exact day that court ruling didn't go your way? That's not a small coincidence, and people are definitely noticing. But here's the bigger twist in all of this. Some are now saying Ray J could end up being the one who seriously shakes the Kardashian empire.
I think we all know that was produced. It wasn't
No.
Yeah.
I just want your support when it really boils down to it.
Mm-hmm.
I want the culture support when they know the facts, and that's it. That's all.
Okay, we'll wait for the facts.
That's a huge statement, and it's coming from what's being whispered behind the scenes. Now listen closely to this blind item because it's intense. It claims the matriarch is terrified that an unsealed $6 million receipt could open the door to phase 2, which would involve a subpoena for 2007 hotel records. And if those records show she checked in with a certain production head, then that could create major legal problems. People are saying this is about Kris Jenner, especially since there have been long-standing claims that she managed and negotiated key parts of that tape situation on Kim's behalf. According to what's being said, those details were allegedly included in an NDA that Ray J signed, tied to that $6 million deal. That alone has people talking nonstop. And then there's another layer to this story. It makes people wonder, did Kanye know anything about this? Because remember that moment when he flew out, sat in the very back of the plane just to retrieve a computer from Ray J and then came back? Kim was emotional on camera and Kanye looked like he had just done something major?
He got me all of the sex tape back.
Oh my God.
And he flew home and got the computer was on a hard drive. And he met up with Ray J at the airport and got it all back for me.
Oh, Kim.
Oh my God.
That's amazing.
But now Ray J is pushing back hard on that whole story. He's saying none of that played out the way it was shown. According to him, there was never a second or third tape, nothing was stolen, and no one was being threatened.
Wasn't there a whole story about how Kanye came, met you at the airport? Pause
on Kanye came, but
okay.
we were able to squash all of it. We spent a little time together after that and got a clear understanding. It's hard for me to dive into it when there's a lot of layers legally to certain shit, but as far as Kanye, that's the homie.
He's even claiming that if any additional footage exists, Kim already has it. And to top it off, there are claims about a studio setup in Burbank being involved, which just adds another layer of mystery to everything. Now here's where things get even more intense. When people bring up those hotel logs, it's not random talk. There have been individuals from the adult industry, even a broker claiming they were involved in early negotiations and tried to route the deal a certain way, but then it suddenly went in a completely different direction.
Ray J has for a long time been saying that sex tape that happened in Mexico, in Cabo, was not only consensual, but the release of it was a plan.
Of course, you know that. Like you can't
have to sign off on both sides.
Yeah, you can't sell those things to those distribution companies without both sides signing off.
That has people asking the same question over and over. Why? And it keeps circling back to this, why did Kim decide to sue Ray J in the first place?
How painful was it for you when your home video went public?
Obviously that's nothing that you want to be seen.
Because from what's being said, Ray J looks like he came prepared. He's claiming he has receipts, including that reported $6 million deal, which people believe was tied to keeping things quiet. Situation flips because the lawsuit is about him allegedly breaking an NDA.
I'm sure there's an NDA that he wasn't supposed to talk about this when they released that sex tape. I'm sure that he signed something where they weren't supposed to. So I'm sure they're probably gonna sue him for this too.
But that's why I give the Kardashians a lot of credit because it takes more than a sex tape to build an empire.
You gotta.
That might be the spark.
It was a spark.
Yeah, but they built a whole dynasty.
But Ray J is arguing that Kim and her team broke it first by bringing him up on Keeping Up with the Kardashians. That changes the whole angle, and it makes this feel less one-sided than people expected. And let's not ignore this either. Ray J has also benefited financially from that tape over the years. So this wasn't just one person involved, it was a situation where multiple sides had something to gain. So why are people saying this could seriously damage the Kardashian brand? Because if Ray J wants to prove he's telling the truth, he can't just stop halfway. He would have to go all the way back digging into hotel records, messages, travel details, studio bookings, even technical data tied to the tape itself. Emails, texts, timelines, and witness accounts could all come into play. And that brings the focus right back again. Why start a legal fight if the other side might have this level of documentation? That's the question people can't stop asking. On top of all that, there's another twist that came out of the legal filings. Ray J reportedly shared parts of his ChatGPT history, where he was asking questions about legal strategy and whether he could even pursue a larger case connected to this situation. That detail alone has people talking, because it shows just how far he might be willing to take this if things keep escalating. Okay, now this part gets really tricky. One of the biggest defenses people are pointing out is something Kim herself said online before. She talked about relying heavily on ChatGPT while studying law and not passing, and now that's being brought back into the spotlight. People are using that to question how much weight should be given to anyone leaning on that kind of advice, especially in something as serious as legal strategy. So now the conversation flips again. If Kim's own reliance on that kind of help is being questioned, then why wouldn't Ray J's use of it also come up in court? Maybe it works against him, maybe it doesn't, but it definitely adds another layer people can't ignore. But here's where things get real in a legal sense. Even if all these claims are being thrown around about contracts, NDAs, and everything else, that alone isn't enough to win a case. In court, it's not just about what was said or done, it's about proving actual damage. So let's say, for the sake of argument, all these accusations are true. The key question becomes, what did it actually cost Kim and Chris? Did Ray J cause them to lose major deals? Did he damage their reputation in a way that can't be repaired? Did he interfere with real business opportunities in a measurable way? Because without that, the case gets shaky. You can't just say something happened, you have to show the impact in a clear, concrete way. And that's where things could get complicated for everyone involved. At the end of the day, this is a civil matter, not a criminal one. That means it's not about jail time, it's about money, reputation, and whether there's enough proof to justify real financial consequences. Now, this is where the legal reality really hits. In civil court, the outcomes are limited. You're either getting money, an injunction to stop someone from doing something, or some kind of restraining order to keep distance. That's it. So, if none of those options actually fix the problem being claimed, then the case starts to fall apart fast. Because here's the key point. You need a clear offense, you need to show you were harmed by it, and it has to be something the court can actually fix through those specific remedies. If you can't connect those dots, then what are you really suing for? That's why people are looking at this situation sideways. There's a lot being said, a lot being claimed, but does it all translate into something the court can act on? That's the big question hanging over everything right now. And here's another detail that has people talking. There's been a long-running rumor about money being taken, often repeated as $250,000. Kiawa's, but a declaration from Sonia Norwood reportedly puts that number much higher, closer to $850,000. That's a huge difference, and it adds even more weight to the overall story being discussed. So when you stack everything together, the contract claims, the dispute over whether there were additional tapes, statements made publicly, and who was involved behind the scenes, it creates a complicated picture. And if any of this were proven in court, it would raise serious questions about how everything was handled. Which brings it right back to the same question again. Why file the lawsuit in the first place if the other side might have been involved from the very beginning and possibly has documentation to support their version? And then there's the timing play that people can't stop talking about. That Tokyo appearance with Louis Hamilton is being labeled by some as a strategic move, even a paid appearance meant to shift attention. And whether that's true or not, one thing is clear, it definitely pulled focus because while it was happening, fewer people were talking about that reported $6 million situation. Now here's the part that really has people talking, that reported payoff tied to the first season of The Kardashians on Hulu. Not the old show, but the newer one is back in the spotlight. Ray J has submitted documents, and the judge has reportedly allowed them to be used to support his claims, including serious allegations about false statements. On top of that, there's talk about possible subpoenas for hotel records, emails, and more detailed evidence. That could open the door to a lot of information coming out. So now the big question everyone keeps asking is, does Kim regret suing Ray J? Because looking at how this is unfolding, some people think this move might have backfired. Others are still trying to understand what the original goal even was. Was this about protecting her image, or was it something else entirely? Some are even wondering if this is turning into another storyline for the show, especially since there were already rumors about her personal life being a focus this season. Either way, this situation is far from over, and people are watching every move closely. Looking at everything laid out in this situation, one thing is clear: this is not just a simple legal dispute, it's turning into a much bigger battle over reputation, timing, and control of the narrative. Every move from both sides is being watched, questioned, and picked apart in real time. On one side, you have Kim and her team trying to protect their image and possibly limit what gets said publicly. On the other side, Ray J is coming forward with claims, documents, and arguments that's more to the story than people were originally told. And when legal filings start getting involved, this stops being just entertainment gossip and starts carrying real weight. What makes this even more intense is the timing of everything. From court decisions to public appearances like the Tokyo trip, people are connecting dots and asking if certain moments are distractions or genuine events. Whether that's true or not, it shows how quickly public perception can shift when new details start surfacing. At the core of it all is one major issue: proof versus narrative. It's one thing to make claims, but it's another to back them up in a legal setting where evidence actually matters. If Ray J can support what he's saying with documents and timelines, then this could force a deeper look into past events that many assumed were already settled. But at the same time, civil cases depend heavily on proving real damage. Without that, even the most shocking claims may not lead to a legal win. That's why the situation feels so unpredictable, because both sides have something to gain but also a lot to lose. No matter how it plays out, this situation is exposing how complicated these high-profile disputes can become when business, personal history, and public image all collide at once. When you step back and look at the full picture, this situation feels less like a single lawsuit and more like a chain reaction that could keep unfolding. Every new detail, every claim, and every document mentioned adds another layer that keeps people locked in and questioning what's really true. What stands out the most is how both sides seem to be playing very different strategies. Kim's side appears focused on controlling the narrative and limiting potential damage, while Ray J is leaning into exposure, putting forward claims, and pointing to evidence that he says supports his version of events. That contrast is exactly why the story keeps gaining momentum. Another major factor here is public perception. Even before any final legal outcome, opinions are already forming. People are analyzing interviews, past episodes, and even small details like timing of trips or appearances. It shows how powerful timing can be, because one well-placed public moment can shift attention almost instantly. At the same time, the legal side remains the foundation of everything. No matter how dramatic the claims sound, the court will focus on facts and whether there is measurable harm. That's where things can either hold strong or completely fall apart. And then there's the bigger question people keep coming back to: was this lawsuit a calculated move or a misstep? Because if the intention was to silence or control the situation, it may have done the opposite by bringing even more attention to it. There's no clear ending yet, no confirmed outcome, just a growing list of questions and possibilities. And as more information potentially comes out, this situation could either settle quietly or escalate into something even bigger than anyone expected. So when you put everything together, this situation is far from over. It actually feels like it's just getting started. What began as a lawsuit is now turning into a full-blown battle over truth, image, and who really controls the story. And the deeper this goes, the more questions start coming up. If Ray J really has the kind of proof he's hinting at, then this could force a serious re-examination of events that people thought were already settled years ago. But at the same time, if those claims don't fully hold up in court, then this could still swing the other way. That's what makes this so unpredictable. Everything depends on what can actually be proven, and let's not ignore the bigger picture here. This isn't just about one case, it's about reputation, business, and legacy. When you're dealing with names this big, every move matters, and even small details can have major consequences. Whether it's strategy or coincidence, people are paying attention now more than ever, and that spotlight isn't going anywhere anytime soon. At the end of the day, one thing is clear: this story still has more chapters left, and the next developments could change everything in a major way. Subscribe to Fame Thunder and stay locked in, because we're following every twist and turn of this situation. Drop your thoughts in the comments and let us know what you think about everything that's coming out.